Monopoly, the Game of Fortune. Chapter 1. The Invitation. The rain beat against Lena's window like impatient fingers drumming on glass. The four friends sat huddled together, the dim lamplight casting uneasy shadows across the room. On the coffee table lay an envelope, yellowed with age, sealed with a red wax crest that seemed almost too perfect, as though it had never been touched by human hands. Lena, hesitant, fiddling with the seal. Are we sure we want to open this? It looks old. Like 100 years old. Max, grinning, leaning back in his chair. Exactly. That makes it awesome. Who even gets mysterious invitations anymore? This is, like, straight out of a movie. Sophie crossed her arms. Or a horror movie. Let's not forget how those end. Jordan picked up the envelope, feeling its weight. It's heavy, like there's more than just paper inside. He cracked the seal, and the wax broke with a snap that made everyone flinch. Slowly, he pulled out the letter. The handwriting curled across the page in black ink, neat and deliberate. He read aloud. You are invited to Prescott Mansion for a game unlike any other. Win, and fortune is yours. Lose, and you may lose more than money. Arrive at 8 o'clock sharp. The banker will be waiting. A silence fell over them. The storm outside rumbled like an omen. Lena, this sounds ridiculous. Who even does this? A rich eccentric with too much time. Max smirked. Or maybe someone who knows we're broke college kids who can't resist free stuff. Sophie gave him a sharp look. Free? Did you not hear the lose more than money part? That's not normal game night talk. Jordan folded the letter carefully, his expression unreadable. We don't have to go. But, don't you feel it? Like we're supposed to. What if it's one of those once-in-a-lifetime things? Lena's curiosity flickered despite her nerves. It does feel bigger. Like fate. Max slapped his knee. That's settled. Haunted Mansion Monopoly night. Here we come. By the time the clock struck 8, they were standing before Prescott Mansion, an enormous stone structure, its windows glowing faintly against the stormy sky. The wrought iron gates groaned as they pushed them open. And with each step toward the door, the weight of the invitation pressed heavier on their hearts. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss more eerie and fascinating tales. Chapter 2. The board comes alive. The mansion's grand hall stretched endlessly, lined with oil portraits whose painted eyes seemed to follow the newcomers. Dust coated every surface, yet a strange warmth lingered, as though the house had been expecting them. At the very center, dominating the room, was the board. It wasn't cardboard. It wasn't wood. It was alive. The Monopoly board stretched across the marble floor, glowing faintly with pulsing lines of light. The properties shimmered like polished gemstones, the chance and community chest squares flickering as though written in fire. At one end, dice the size of footballs sat perfectly still, their pips glowing softly in the dim light. The tokens were lined up neatly, the dog, the car, the thimble, and the top hat. They gleamed unnaturally, like silver polished by lightning. Sophie, whispering, is it moving? The tokens rattled in place, as though eager to leap forward. Max laughed, though uneasily, and snatched the car. Well, this one's mine. Classic. Lena crouched and picked up the dog. Its eyes glittered briefly before dimming. Guess I'll be man's best friend. Sophie hesitated, then reluctantly picked the top hat. Fine. But only because the shoe looks dumb. That left Jordan with the thimble. He frowned at it. Seriously? Out of everything, I get stuck with the thimble? What am I supposed to do, stitch my way to victory? The hall darkened suddenly, as though the storm outside had swallowed the light. A figure appeared at the edge of the board, tall and faceless, cloaked in black with a top hat taller than any man should be. His voice rumbled like rolling dice across a table. Banker, welcome, players. The rules are simple. Play the game. Pay your debts. Win, and the fortune is yours. But beware. His voice echoed, stretching unnaturally. Banker, Monopoly takes more than it gives. The dice trembled. The board flared. And with a sudden lurch, the mansion vanished. The four friends found themselves standing inside the board itself. Streets towered around them, glowing neon buildings stretched into a dark sky, and the ground beneath their feet pulsed with the energy of the game. Chapter 3, The First Roll. Max was the first to break the stunned silence. Max, okay. This is insane. We're literally inside the game. This is the best night of my life. Lena glared at him. Best night? Are you not seeing the same nightmare I'm seeing? But Max was already striding toward the dice. He shoved them with both hands, and they clattered across the glowing board, each impact shaking the ground. Finally, they stopped, showing a 7. The car token shot forward on its own, dragging Max's shadow along with it. It stopped at Boardwalk. The ground rumbled. Before their eyes, a gleaming skyscraper erupted from the square, piercing the clouds above. Its windows burned with cold blue fire. Max, laughing yes. Boardwalk, baby. I'm gonna own this whole game. Did you see that? It's mine. Lena rolled next, the dog bounding forward until it stopped at the railroads. Gleaming silver tracks snaked outward in every direction, stretching across the board like living veins. Lena, uneasy, but claiming them anyway. I'll take it. Trains can get you anywhere, right? Sophie's turn. She landed on the utilities. At once, giant pipes and glowing wires coiled upward like metallic vines, humming with power. She shivered. Sophie, why do I feel like these things are watching me? Jordan rolled last, landing on a modest property, Vermont Avenue. He stared at it, then shook his head. Jordan. No. I'm not buying. Not yet. Something's wrong with all this. Max threw his arms up. What's wrong is you're playing scared. This is how you win, buy big, buy early. Jordan's unease deepened as he looked around at the glowing, living world. No, Maximum. This isn't just a game. It's alive. The others ignored him, dazzled by their growing power. And in the shadows, the banker's grin widened. Chapter 4, The Debt Collector. The game sped forward, dice rolling, tokens moving, properties bought. Streets reshaped themselves with every purchase. What was once empty space filled with towers, houses, and hotels rising like weeds in fast forward. But then Sophie's token stopped on Boardwalk, Max's gleaming empire. The air dropped 20 degrees in an instant. Her token froze in place, and a glowing number appeared in the air above her. $2,000 rent. Sophie, I don't have that much yet. A dark laugh echoed. The banker appeared in the middle of the board, his faceless head tilting. Banker, debts must be paid. Always. Suddenly, Sophie gasped, clutching her chest. A cold force pulled at her, draining not just her strength but something deeper, her very essence. Lena, panicking, stop it. She doesn't have the money. Banker, calmly, then she pays in another way. Sophie stumbled, her skin paling as though her life was being siphoned away. She threw crumpled bills and property deeds onto the board, desperate. One by one, the glowing red numbers above her diminished. At last, the number vanished. Sophie collapsed to her knees, trembling. Sophie, breathing hard. It felt like it was taking me. Like my soul. Max's grin faltered. He swallowed, suddenly realizing the weight of his victory. The banker tipped his hat. Banker, remember, players. Fortune is sweet, but debt is bitter. He vanished, leaving only the echo of his laughter and the hollow clink of dice rolling somewhere in the dark. Chapter 5, Jailhouse Secrets. Jordan's turn came, and the dice rattled across the board. They stopped at Go to Jail. Before anyone could laugh, a black and white cell materialized around him. Steel bars slammed shut, rattling with a sound that made the others jump. Jordan's body flickered, and in the blink of an eye, he was inside the cell, clutching the bars. Jordan, furious, hey. What the hell? Let me out of here. Banker, appearing, voice smooth as oil. You rolled. The board decides. Jail is temporary, unless you lose everything. Jordan turned. In the shadows of the cell, he saw figures, half-faded shapes, muttering voices. Their outlines wavered like smoke. Whispering voices, we played, we lost, we stayed. Jordan's heart pounded. These weren't echoes. These were the ghosts of past players, trapped forever, their games never finished. Jordan, whispering to himself, so that's it. If we go bankrupt, we don't just lose, we vanish. Lena's voice cut through. Lena. Jordan. Are you okay? What's happening in there? Jordan, listen to me, all of you. This isn't just some twisted game for money. If any of us go broke, we don't leave. Ever. We're stuck here, like them. The banker tipped his hat, smirking silently before fading into the dark. Jordan sank to the ground of his cold cell, gripping the dice he was handed. He would have 3 chances to roll doubles and escape. He knew the rules. But here, rules came with teeth. And the ghosts whispered still, don't fail, don't fail. Chapter 6, The Great Auction. The game pressed on, tension rising. Properties filled, houses and hotels glittered under a false moon in the board's dark sky. The dice rolled, and suddenly, one of the most coveted squares lit up, Park Place. The moment the token landed, the property pulsed, and a booming voice announced, "Banker, auction." The ground beneath their feet shifted into a circular arena. The property rose in the center like a jewel on a pedestal. Max, eyes gleaming, Park Place. Paired with Boardwalk, it's unbeatable. It's mine. Lena shook her head. Not if I take it first. Sophie, still pale from her encounter, raised her hand weakly. I'm bidding too. Jordan, finally freed from jail after rolling doubles, clenched his fists. You're all crazy. This is exactly what it wants, us turning against each other. But the others didn't listen. The bidding began, numbers climbing higher and higher, the glowing bills vanishing from their hands as quickly as they appeared. Max, 800. Lena, 1,000. Sophie, voice trembling, 1,200. The banker's shadow grew taller, feeding on their greed. At last, Lena slammed her final bid. 1,500. The arena went silent. The pedestal lowered into her hands, Park Place glowing like a cursed treasure. But when Lena looked up, Max's eyes were burning with fury. Max, through clenched teeth, you just made the biggest mistake of your life. The board itself seemed to shudder, delighted by the fracture spreading among them. Chapter 7, Chance and Community Chest. The dice clattered again, and Sophie's token landed on Chance. She drew a glowing card. The letters burned across it, advanced to Boardwalk. Her body jerked as if pulled by invisible strings, and in a flash, she stood on Max's gleaming property. But then the card shifted, its letters twisting, swap ownership with the player who holds this space. Before Max could protest, Boardwalk skyscraper dissolved into Sophie's hands. She gasped as new strength surged through her, blue fire crawling across her skin. Sophie, half in awe, half terrified, it's mine. I own it now. Max's roar shook the board. That's cheating. It's mine. The banker chuckled. The cards, decide. On Jordan's turn, he drew from community chest. The card flared blood red, pay hospital fees of $5,000. Jordan's knees buckled. He had nowhere near enough. The glowing number hung above him like a guillotine. Jordan, no, no, no. That's impossible. The banker loomed, stretching tall and skeletal. Banker, pay, or vanish. Jordan scrambled, selling properties, throwing deeds onto the board, his face drenched in sweat. He barely scraped together the amount before the number dissolved. He collapsed, gasping. It's trying to break us. Every roll, every card, it's not chance. It's punishment. Chapter 8, The Railroad Gambit. Lena, still clutching Park Place, turned her attention to her railroads. She struck deals with Sophie and Jordan, offering safe passage across her 4 glowing tracks. Lena, listen. If we keep bleeding each other dry, none of us will survive. I'll let you both pass free if you stay allied with me. Sophie shook her head, clutching Boardwalk. You think alliances matter. The game will just tear them apart. Max sneered. And what about me, Lena? No deals for old friends. Lena, you don't want an alliance. You just want to win. Max's silence was enough of an answer. The game pushed forward. Dice clattered, money changed hands, hotels sprouted like tumors. Each deal strained friendships further. Sophie's empire grew. Lena clung to her railroads. Jordan barely survived. And through it all, the banker's laughter echoed, richer, louder. He thrived as long as their greed did. Chapter 9. Checkmate at Boardwalk. It happened suddenly. Max rolled. His token car shot forward, straight onto Sophie's boardwalk. The skyscraper loomed above him, its windows glowing red. The number appeared. $4,000 rent. Max's face drained of color. He didn't have it. Not even close. Max, pleading Sophie, come on, we're friends. Cut me a break. Sophie shook her head, her voice trembling but firm. I can't. Not with him watching. The banker materialized, towering above them. His voice rang like a death knell. Banker, bankruptcy. Max fell to his knees. Please. I'll trade, I'll sell, I'll. But the rules were absolute. The moment the word left the banker's mouth, Max's body flickered like a glitch in reality. His screams echoed as he dissolved into smoke. And then, he was gone. His car token lay on the board, still and lifeless. The three remaining players gasped for air, but in their hearts, something else stirred, a faint memory slipping away. Lena, shaken it's like. I can't remember what he looked like. Jordan, the game's erasing him. Like he never existed. But somewhere in the distance, faint laughter echoed, hollow and cruel. Chapter 10, The Final Roll. The three survivors huddled together, fear outweighing greed for the first time. Lena, listen. We can't keep playing. Every roll just feeds it. Sophie, hesitant, but what if stopping means we lose everything too? Jordan shook his head firmly. No. The trap isn't losing, it's wanting to win. That's how it keeps us here. We walk away. Together. The dice rattled suddenly, rolling on their own. The board screamed for them to continue. The banker appeared one final time, his faceless shadow looming. Banker, booming, you cannot stop. You must finish the game. But Lena stepped forward. No. We're finished with you. Sophie and Jordan joined her, backing away from the board, refusing to touch the dice. The board shook violently, skyscrapers crumbling, hotels collapsing in showers of sparks. The banker shrieked, his body unraveling like smoke in a storm. Banker, you cannot leave. The game never ends. But the friends didn't falter. And with a blinding flash, the board shattered into fragments of light. The mansion reappeared, dusty, silent, empty. The three of them stumbled into the night air, the storm finally clearing. For a long time, none of them spoke. Then Sophie whispered. Sophie, do you hear that? They froze. Somewhere, faint but unmistakable, came Max's laughter, echoing on the wind, as if he was still playing, forever trapped in the eternal Monopoly board.